This podcast is created on Treaty 8 territory, the ancestral and present-day home to the many diverse First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people. We honor the original caretakers of this land, the history, and the opportunity to walk together in friendship, truth, and reconciliation. For many men in Alberta and across Canada, mental health is a silent struggle. It's often overshadowed by rural living, societal expectations to be strong and stoic, economic uncertainty. Here's just a few statistics to make you think about men's mental health in Alberta and across Canada. It's really important that we continue to have conversations around men's mental health and normalize it so that we can lead people to resources and to make them understand that they're not alone in this struggle. Hi, I'm Cara, and this is Cara Jones Speaks, a show where I like to shed light on the extraordinary.
Just wanna uplift you, spread love and positivity. Yeah, everybody tune in to Cara Jones Speaks. Wanna shed light on the extraordinary. Sharing people's stories from struggling to glory. It's all about empowerment, the coolest channel you're gonna find. Trying to make the world better, one step at a time. Let's go. Cara Jones Speaks. Yeah, Cara Jones Speaks. Yeah.
My guest today is Rod Black, a musician and a men's mental health advocate. We met back in 2015 when he was here in Grande Prairie to do a concert for youth empowerment. And when we got talking, we realized we both had near-death experiences that transformed our lives. Formerly the lead singer of Jet Black Stare, Rod's new band, Black Lysted, has just come out with a new song called Redline. And although I know the song is for everyone, I wanted to connect with Rod online to ask him some questions about his passion for lending the message to support men's mental health, start conversations, and end the stigma. Rod, where are you?
Hanging out with all my buddies and stuff like that, just getting my Zen time right now. And then I'll be back. Yeah, then I'll head back to Canmore.
I love how your Zen time is having an interview, so thanks for that.
Yes, you're my sister. I got you back.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about when you were creating this new song. Well, first, just tell me about the new song.
Okay, so there's a lot to take in here, so I'll try to keep it as short as possible. So the song called Redline really means a lot to me. I wrote it with my buddy Jimmy and Jeff, and we're on the same page. As it's to do with men's mental health and wellness. Like, I mean, we're in crazy times right now, and that it's kind of a come together kind of song. And obviously not just for men's mental health and wellness, but we are putting it up under that umbrella, if you will. But I think a lot of people are going to relate to it, especially knowing when you're up against the wall, back against the wall, and you got to fight your way out kind of thing, but not physically, but you know what I'm saying.
When you were feeling like inspired to create it, what was it that made you say, hey, we should really talk about men's mental health? Like, what was it that made you want to be like, oh, let's lend this to that cause?
Well, we were just coming out of the COVID, right? And it's something I've been thinking about for a very long time. And I didn't want it to be a negative although a lot of people are going through really hard times and still are, and we're kind of recovering slowly. So I wanted to still be uplifting and everything, and but it did come around that time frame too. So I think with that, obviously men's mental health is a huge topic right now. It's been brewing for quite a while, and just people in general are going through these hard situations, and that's kind of where the song kind of came. It kind of inspired, I guess, by hard times.
What are you seeing though in regards to men, especially on this side? I find like, so in Alberta, for example, there's a lot of crisis. I mean, there's crisis across Canada
Yes.
and around the world, but I do see higher spikes of, death by suicide and depression, anxiety. What are you seeing when it comes to men's mental health, especially since you've been back in Alberta?
Well, it's everywhere right now. A lot of my friends are going through some difficult times right now, so I try to be there the best I can for them, right? Obviously, I'm going through my own thing right now too. You know what I mean? It's tough. Like even though my dad passed in 2011, he's still a very big part of my life, and especially when you're going through hard times, you look for your angels and kind of thing. And so I see what's happening right now is everybody's kind of leveling out on the same page, if you will. We're all kind of looking for our angels and looking for some guidance and and someone to listen. And obviously with men's mental health, and it's being such a big topic, finally, it's okay to open up, where before we were, even myself, raised in a rodeo family, you were raised to, don't cry and don't show your weak side and all that kind of stuff, right? It's just the way I was raised. But as you get older, you realize it's okay to open up. And I'm seeing that a lot. Well, in Canada in general, but here in Alberta, for sure, there's a lot of just difficult moments and a lot of things that people have to make decisions on and all that kind of stuff, because, we're having a tough time with the economy as well too. I mean, in Alberta, it's a little bit better, obviously. There's lots of work out here, but in general, just in Canada, I'm noticing people are going through the hard times. Ooh, sorry,
Yeah,
I got a lot of sun. So I'm just like, oh my God. Oh, yeah, anyway, continue.
I find too, it is shifting a bit, but I do think there's a lot of unlearning that's happening in a really fast, like a really quick amount of time. Because, I mean, even just 10 years ago, even just then you think about being out on the oil rigs or being in any kind of like an industry where you're told to man up, you're told to, you need to provide and you need to do all these things. And I saw that double-edged sword.
Well, it just started making me think about what you were talking about. My dad was on the oil rigs and stuff, and here I'm back in Alberta, which is crazy in itself. But I know what you're saying is like, it's almost like
I think that there's a double standard. Like there's always double standards, I find, when it comes to genders and different things. But I watched my ex go through like a lot when it came to the double standard. So for example, like where he was struggling a lot with mental health issues, but he was expected to provide, and to do all that. And because he wasn't well, it was like he was getting that like kind of idea thrown at him, like he was slacking or he was doing it. But if it was me, he'd be expected to take care of me. He'd be expected to do that. How do you see men, navigating that these days? Do you think it's changing?
Well, I can definitely relate to that. So I grew up with all girls. I think we've talked about that. Lots of girls in my life, but in general, it was just, my dad and I, and so I always felt like I was the hawk of the nest, the little hawk of the nest. And then when my dad moved on, then I became kind of the hawk of the nest, if you will. And I think that we are still, no matter what a guy wants to say, they still want to be the protector. That's just in our DNA. I think it really boils down to that, is like, yeah, we have feelings and we have to share them and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we still want to be a protector. And for me, I'm just naturally, that's just the way I was raised. It's in my blood. And so I'm always going to be the protector of my mom and my sisters, right? I mean, that's a given in my family in general. But I think that it's, if it came down to it, a lot of guys would step up and say, you know what, I have to protect. And it's just a natural thing, So.
But do you find that men are starting to, there's more change happening around like, hey, I got you too, like for each other? because I think that's probably, I mean, I always say men are victims of the patriarchy too.
Mm-hmm.
It's not all men, it's men are also in it, right?
Yeah.
What do you think is changing when it comes to how men talk to each other?
I think we're not as reserved. I think, instead of just talking about sports, having the cliche of having a beer with your buddy, I think more guys are opening up. I know it's happening on my end. And I think it takes one person to do that. And then the other friend is like, hey, they opened up to me. I feel I should open up to them. And then it's kind of like, was it the word reciprocal? Is that the word I'm looking for?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that the times are changing right now. It has a lot to do with the spiritual side, and that's a whole different conversation there. But the bottom line is, I think we're in this part of our life right now in history. It's a come together kind of moment. And even though the guys are, those are my bros and, and hanging out with the guys and stuff like that. And they always, I got your back. But that doesn't always mean more of a physical thing. That means more of a, hey, man, you need somebody to talk to. I'm always here for you. And I think that's it's happening more and more right now. And rightfully so. And I think it's been a long time coming. You can see with people too that are making posts on their social accounts and stuff like that, right? Guys are starting to open up a lot more, and because they're not so feared that they're going to be made fun of for sharing their feelings. Where maybe 5-6 years ago, not that they would be made fun of, but just that a lot of people would be very reserved to share their feelings. But now I think we're opening up more and more. And, and that's also a big bonus for women's mental health as well, because then you realize that, hey, you know what? It doesn't just have to be my girlfriend that I'm talking to. It could be my husband, it could be the boyfriend, could be just a guy friend, and all that kind of stuff that I feel comfortable opening up to, right? Because they're sharing some aside too, and they don't feel guilty that they're, bombarding somebody with their emotions when the other person's got the same kind of thing they're going through. So it's a relatable thing. And again, the common ground of the balance of those two souls. Yeah.
So you're very spiritual, just like me. We've had some experiences. I mean, to all of those out there, I don't even think you'll quite get it in this podcast, but Rod and I have both had near-death experiences, and that's how we ended up bonding. Was sharing that, because honestly, up until I met you, I had not actually met, well, that's not true. I think my boyfriend back in the day, mother, had a near-death experience, and she was the first person. But when people ask me what it is that I learned from that experience, I always tell them, I know that I know nothing. It's liberating in a lot of ways. It's like, this experience I'm in, doesn't matter what language I try to put to it, there are no words to explain how little I know. And even if I think I have it figured out, I'm wrong. How are you feeling, especially in these times? If people were to go, hey, Rod, you had a near-death experience, you must be so enlightened.
Well, I definitely, my intuition is strong. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I'm always 10 steps ahead, but that's, I've been like that as an old soul since I was a kid. And we talked about that we have that in common too. So it's not by fluke that we both went through similar journeys on the flatline situation. But what I find is that I'm on the same page as you. You know what I mean? Just when you think you've got, oh yeah, that makes sense. And all of a sudden, nope, that's not even close to where I'm, you know what I mean? And I think that we're here just to, and we talked about this again, here to love and learn, and that's it. Material aspects, that's just whatever. That doesn't mean anything. It's the love and learn and that mentality. And I think that's more and more needed than ever, and being compassionate for others and what they're going through and all that kind of stuff. And differences of opinion. I mean, hey, we're not all the same. We all our own identity, right? So just and it's a tough time right now, because a lot of people are feeling like they can open up and just talk, but they don't realize they're hurting people's feelings. There's other people that it's been a long time coming. They want to say something, but they don't want to look like the fool, but they also still want to get their emotions out, and they don't want, and it's like, it's the revolving, ball of just emotions and all that kind of stuff. But when we all look at it, that's our common goal, goal to get there, but also our common ground too, when we all get there together. And that's really what it boils down to. That's one thing we can all relate on. I agree. We're all going through it right now, right? We're all going through it at some level. So let's just come together, love one another, and be compassionate for each other's feelings.
I think that's so true. And although, of course, I believe that social media has been something that has completely transformed our social way of being, and it's been that also is a double-edged sword.
Yeah, yes,
Um,
that's for
it,
sure.
it comes with a lot of negative, but there are some things that I think even since the pandemic, I've noticed, like that more voices are being heard that never had the opportunity to be heard before. And people are going, oh my God, my neighbor's going through that. I had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
All of us are starting to hear a little bit more. Sure, they love to throw the divisiveness at us, right?
Yeah,
We're all divided.
yeah.
But in the end, I agree with you. I think that it may seem that way, but it's more taking us to a place, right? Of I don't know what the word is or the expression, but it's like we're in the middle of a fever and all this stuff is coming to the surface, you know?
It's coming out, and the ones that we talked about this, and that's the ones that get it know what we're getting ready to prepare for, and the ones that are very new to this, it's going to be an eye opener, but it's going to be for the positive, right?
Yeah.
And people are going to realize soon enough that material things don't mean anything, and that's just Cara, you and I, we know what we know. I mean, that's
Yep.
pretty much it. And you could talk to anybody that's flatline, anybody that's, let's just say, connected energy wise and all that kind of stuff. And it doesn't matter. We don't have it figured out. We're not meant to have it figured
Oh
out.
my God, no.
But we all come to that conclusion. And I've talked to people and talked to you and talked to everybody that's in this kind of realm, mediums of all sorts. And then we've all got that, that it's nothing to do with material, how much money you have in your bank and stuff like that. We're about to embark on something that's it's going to be a wild ride, but it's going to be good.
It is a wild ride right now.
It is.
So oh my God, I'm holding on for dear life.
Mumbo jumbo to anybody that's out there listening and stuff like that. Like you hold on, because it's going to get really crazy. And then that's where we're really, really going to come together. And back to Redline, that's why that song was written. It's a come together type song. And
It is. Yeah,
I want to get that around the world, and hopefully people can be inspired by it.
Yeah. We're singing it like, yeah.
Wow.
It's got a real feel that like it's amped up, you know? I feel amped up when I listen to it. And we need that right now. We just need that. We need more artists like you and the band to kind of bring us all together and feel empowered and feel like, yeah, we can overcome anything together. We're pushing it.
Yeah.
We got each other's back. For like one last comment, I'd love to ask you, if you were to see this song, you know, how would you like to see this song create an impact if you could? I know you're someone though, Rod, that would be like one person. If it saves them, that's great.
Well, I mean, yeah, that sounds like a bit of a cliche, but really that's one of my favorite things. We talked about this too. I can play in front of thousands of people, but getting off that stage, I kind of feel out of sorts because I'm so about less is more. So I'd rather be, but then you're at the merch booth and all that kind of stuff. And so if one person comes up and say that song really inspired me, I'm like, wow, okay, that's amazing. And I'm taking in that energy. Redline, I don't know until it goes out. We won't know, obviously, but I'm hoping that people really gravitate to it and realize that they're not alone and we're all going through this together. And if it becomes something successful, and I don't mean financially, that's whatever, but I'm talking about connection wise, I'd like to see it go around the world. And then this idea that I was telling you about is I want everybody in different countries to just hold up lyrics or just sing along or whatever to show, that we're all united, right? Mother Earth, right? And come together moment. And that's what I envision with the song.
I love it, and it's gonna happen. You know it. I know it.
One day at a time, my soul sister. One day at a time. Just enjoying the moment.
True, one day at a time, but it's just fun because it's already made an impact on me. So there, you got your one.
Yeah. Do I look really red?
No, you don't. You don't. But are you dying in the heat right now?
Well, no, it's all good. It's just funny because I was in the studio and I didn't want to be in the studio because it was loud. And so I'm like, oh, there's a nice park. And I'm just like, and it's funny because we were just talking about the oil rigs and stuff like that. I've got a lot of friends in the rigs, and obviously my dad was in the rigs, and a lot of my buddies are truck drivers and stuff. And so the place that I come, I'm like, I got semis right on the side here, right? And it's funny because we were talking about it. They're literally right on the side of me. You know what I mean? I've always, when you grow up in that kind of family, like hard work I don't shy away from that. That's for sure. So I'm kind of used to that.
You're a really
Little
hard
bit of
worker.
dust, never hurt anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God, you're one of the hardest workers. I'm just always like, where are you right now? Like, what part of the country are you in? I never know where you are. You're always
Yeah,
working.
yeah,
Amazing.
but yeah,
Good.
and I'm just really, as always, just thankful that you take the time, and we always have a great conversation.
Oh, it's the best. If you'd like to learn more about Rod and the band Black Lysted or resources for men's mental health, make sure to go to my website, www.carajonespeaks.tv, and I hope you'll tune in next time as I continue to shed light on the extraordinary.